Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the ToD Podcast. This is your host, Molly Mall, Jamal Force. Shout out Henny Mall if you know what I'm saying. You on the Activision stuff. Man, welcome back to another episode of the ToD Podcast. Tonight we are talking all things Washington football. Right now there is just me. It's just me. Dre said he's running a little late. I don't know what's going on with AJ. But you know what I'm saying, he said he tied up with a little bit of things. So right now it's just me, and if Dre hops on, you know what I'm saying, we'll catch him in a little bit. But yeah, man, I hope everybody, who's listening to this had a good Memorial Day weekend. Shout out to my boy Schnick. I'm gonna be talking to you tomorrow for sure. But yeah, my boy Schnick had a wedding. I had to attend it this weekend, man, and it was really good, bruh. It was really good. I'm so upset. Everybody and their mama, man, from the day ones, everybody that we met at high school, everybody that we knew at high school, some of the people that we've known since middle school, they all popped out Saturday, and I had no idea. So the bachelor party, or bachelor, quote unquote bachelor party, was Friday. So I'm really over here not thinking of anything. Not thinking anything. I should have checked in. That's my fault, right? But I'm sitting here thinking nobody, or at least, you know what I'm saying, not the fellas is going out again for another night, which was foolish of me. You know what I'm saying? I kind of figured everybody was exhausted from Friday, but I was in the wrong. I was in the wrong. They popped out Saturday, and I had no idea, man. All the fellas, bruh, and I found out as we're preparing for the actual wedding on Sunday. I found out everybody went out, except for me and like two other people, right? So I'm just sick. But at the end of the day, cause I'm gonna talk to them about that tomorrow again. I'm a little sick about that. But at the end of the day, bruh, the weekend for me, I hope y'all had a good weekend. But the wedding was great. The vibes was great. I'm happy for Nick and Kendra, man. They did their thing. They said their I do's, bruh. They locked it together officially for eternity. Right? They locked that shit up for eternity, man. And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for what they got in store for each other. I don't know when I'm about to get married. I don't know when I'm about to get married. You know what I'm saying? But for the record, it seems like everything is happening in a hurry, because all my friends, literally, a lot of y'all not. One of my friends got married last September. Nick was the next person that got married. He got married Sunday. Then I got another friend. These are all close friends, by the way, so that's why I'm bringing this up. I got another friend getting married in September. Right? That's 3 people. But it don't stop there. I got another friend getting married at the end of January. And then I got another friend getting married in February to close it off. And that one is the destination wedding. God damn. We're going to fucking Jamaica for that one. Jamaica. Now I feel like, first of all, pressure don't faze me. So I don't care what anybody tell me. I'm not worried about, you know what I'm saying? The questions like, hey Mo, when you up next? I don't know. The answer is, for me, I don't know when I'm getting married, bro. In the meantime, while everybody's having their ceremonies, I'm about to be over here drinking my little bottle of Hennessy. I'm about to be drinking whatever I need, you know what I'm saying, to turn up and enjoy their wedding, because I'm not thinking about it no time soon. And as I'm saying this, my man Dre just hopped in. So let me go ahead and switch it to the Skype stream. Dre, first off, how are you feeling before I let you know what I was just, girl, get off. How you?
earlier than this, but today feels like a Monday. So I completely forgot today was Tuesday.
Hey, look, first off, you don't have to apologize, my man. Like this, again, like if things happen, you know what I'm saying, and we know AJ, he got his things going on too, so it is what it is. So don't apologize, my brother. You know what I'm saying. You look,
I
right
was
on
moving
time.
like it was a Monday today. Like I even put my trash and stuff out, and I was like, wait a minute, today Tuesday. What? They pick up the trash on Tuesday.
My neighbor did the exact same thing. Like as soon as I left, because I had to go make a move after work, and she literally said, "Hey, bro, I'm a little pissed off. I put my trash out there." She had parties too for Memorial Day weekend. She had people there, so I know she's sick. But she got to wait till Thursday.
Oh, yeah,
they don't
sit.
They don't fuck with people, bro. No, after days after holidays, they not coming. And if it's raining, they be like, you know what? We'll catch y'all next time. Like it's a wrap. It's literally a wrap.
They don't play that.
No,
they got a schedule.
Not at all. Exactly. So I was sitting here talking about the fact that over recapping my weekend really. And my one of my mans, one of my good friends, he got married on Sunday. And I was just thinking about the fact that, all of my close friends, I broke it down. Like I had a friend who got married, a close friend that got married. We're all in the same circle. Like he got married in September of last year. And then the next friend, which was the one that happened this weekend, he got married Sunday. And then I got another friend that's getting married in September. And it don't stop there, because I got another friend that's getting married in January. And then I got another friend after that who caps everything off. He's getting a destination wedding, married in Jamaica in February. So like all of these things are tight.
R.I.P. your pockets.
Bruh. And I said to myself a couple of days ago, that May might be the most expensive month of my year this year. And I didn't even take into account literally what you just said. I still got 3 more weddings to go. I can't call it just yet. This shit is gonna be crazy.
That means you getting married after that. If all your man's getting married, you up next.
No. And that's what I finished. It ain't no pressure on my end. Your pressure don't faze me, brother. They can ask me all the questions I want, like when you proposing to your girl, when you get married. Shit, I don't know. I'm taking my time. And Jovina, I'm sorry if you watching this, baby. You know what I'm saying? I love you, but we ain't worried about that right now, all right? We ain't worried about that right now.
She might feel a little type of way right now, but she knows it's all love.
I know it's all love. She understand it. So yeah, how was your weekend, man? You was good, boss?
Yeah, it was actually cool, man. Friday night, I had actually went out in the city to hang out for the first time since the pandemic. I mean, I've been out like a couple bars here and there, but it's only so much you can do, because you go to the bar, or you sit down and you eat and you leave and you go home. You don't go out and enjoy the town, so to speak. So absolutely. Friday night, I was out, and it was funny because this was the first time I felt like people started to feel like this thing. I mean, the pandemic isn't over. Let's get this straight right now, but people in DC on U Street, they sure thought it was. Like I literally had a guy come up to me in the bar. He's drunk and everything. Of course. You could tell
he probably put his hands on you a little bit.
Oh, he put his hands on me, and I was like, luckily I'm vaccinated.
Brother.
He comes up and he's like, man, bro, I'm just so glad this shit is over, man. And, just to be out and having fun. And he introduces me to all these people, and I'm just looking like, okay, all right, hello, everyone. It's like, but at the same time, it did feel fun. I mean, pandemic stuff aside, it felt fun, and, just actually good to feel like it was a normal night for once. And shit, man, I was out for a while. I was out to like 3:00 in the morning on U Street. People was partying out there.
That's what's up, bro. I'm legit happy to hear it, because like in the same vein, I was gonna ask you, because I didn't know if you wanted to share or not. But yeah, like I wanted to ask you if you was vaccinated. I'm in the same boat, bro. I'm fully vaccinated, man. And like it's a burden. It's a burden off my back, bro. Like in the sense that even though, because there is that misconception, people say it, like you can still get sick if you know what I'm saying, you step out there, but it's like, it's more so like if something happens to you, you don't have to worry about it being so severe. And like knowing that's in the back of my head, and I went to the wedding on Sunday, I had to mask my back pocket just in case somebody said anything, like, because I don't mind, it's a venue, so it's whatever. But I'm in that zone, didn't have to put on the mask once. And I'm feeling good. Like it's back into 2019 again, bro, or early 2020, bro. That shit was amazing, bro. That shit was really amazing, man. So I'm glad. I was glad you.
I had fun.
Absolutely, I'm glad you was able to, bro. I fucking the whole day. Oh my goodness, RP to my liver, bro. I had a bottle of Hennessy, a fifth of Hennessy, and then on top of that, this is almost before we even get to the wedding. Like we start turning up at like 2:00, and then as soon as the wedding reception hits, my girl wants some tequila and sunrise, and I'm like, you know what? Fuck it, bro. I'm mixing tonight, and it went.
Why not? Right?
It was a wrap.
Do you remember much for that night?
Thankfully, I do, cause I had to drive home, so I was smart enough, and I had enough awareness. Like when my night was ending, like, and I know I had to go home, I probably stopped drinking like a half hour to 45 minutes before I had to leave. So I was kind of good in that sense, but. Smart. And I had cake and ice cream, which I don't eat, but I was like, you know what? I need as much food as I can to kind of balance this Hennessy out. So I did what I could. Stomach. Exactly. That was literally the plan. So I'm glad I was still cognizant up there. So it is what it is, bro. All right. So on the show,
you made it weekend good.
Hey, absolutely. Hey, same to you, man. So I'm expecting you to talk about some more stories, some more bar stories next week, bro. I need to hear some more.
We'll see about that.
All right. So this week, man, we just got a couple topics, and in the midst of me preparing for this, I saw an article literally 5 minutes before I started the stream. And we're going to change up the Logan Thomas thing right towards the end. We're going to change that, swap it out, because Michael Phillips of the Richmond Times, he posted an article that was. I get the argument. Right? And it's about Taylor Heinicke and should he be a starting quarterback? Or he said Taylor Heinicke should be the starting quarterback. So that's not a question. He's not asking a question. He's saying that it should happen. It's a thought-provoking question, but in reality, like the argument itself is kind of just like, I see where you're going, Mike, but I can tell you why you're wrong, and I'll let you know. So we can talk about that. We can worry about Logan Thomas on another day. But we can go ahead and start this off with the quote of the week, man. And everybody who's here, I appreciate y'all for tuning in live. As always, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you know what I'm saying, get at a chance. You know what I'm saying, subscribe. YouTube is also available as well for clips and stuff like that. And full episodes of the playback if you missed anything live. The quote of the week is actually from Doc Walker via... what was it? The Kevin Sheehan show on Friday afternoon. Dakota, there's no way. So I'm gonna pose this, and I want to hear your thoughts, and then I'm gonna kick Dakota out. So Doc Walker stated on Friday that he actually agreed with this argument that Kevin Sheehan has been making for a couple of days following the absence of Chase Young at OTAs, voluntary OTAs, by the way. And the thing with Chase Young, and the reason why it was a big deal, right, was because of the leadership aspect in which people thought, you know, that he brought to the table for this team and for this defense. Quotes are as follows for Doc Walker regarding Chase Young. Number one was he does things. I'm sorry. That is actually Ron Rivera's quote. So this is where Ron Rivera stated it, and what's to follow is what Doc Walker stated. So Rivera said of Chase Young that he does things, you know, the way you're supposed to, and he does things the way a leader does. Those things go unstated. You know what I'm saying? We all know this. This is something, I mean, clearly blanket, but also something that he feels, you know, that actually embodies Chase Young. But Doc Walker, in terms of Kevin Sheehan's comments and arguments that he was posting on his Kevin Sheehan podcast and his radio show, he texted, "A captain never needs to be told how and when to lead." That was the first text. And the second text that he sent was, "A true leader never puts themselves in a position to be questioned." This is all in reference, again, to Chase Young missing the voluntary OTAs. So Dre, my first question, or the question to you, Dakota, you're about to get kicked out. Is that a fair statement to make, given the comments that Rivera made? So where are you at with Doc Walker and the mix between Rivera and Doc Walker, statements?
Well, yeah, with Doc and Kevin Sheehan both, they come from the old school in a sense, where they look for certain guys to be a certain way, especially if you're a star on the team. They're looking at you as, oh, you have to lead by doing this, that, and the third, and it starts here in OTAs. Now, I agree to an extent that you would like to see Chase out there because he was a captain last year in his rookie year, and he's a guy who showed a lot of leadership skills, and sure, you would like to see him there, but again, I don't know why Chase Young wasn't there. I haven't seen any reasons. It could have been something that he discussed with Ron, months ago, in a sense, and said, hey, I'm doing this week and I'll be back, for the next OTAs. And that's fine. If you communicating with your coach, that's all good. But I don't think it's a situation where his teammates are going to sit there and be holding this against him. Oh, Chase wasn't here for OTAs the first week. When you get to training camp and even your mandatory mini camp that's coming up, the training camp preseason, no one's going to be sitting there talking about, oh, man, I wish Chase was here for that first week of OTAs like everybody else. Chase is going to bring that energy, that same energy you saw Chase bring last year on the sidelines and throughout this. Whenever he's in the building, that's what he's bringing. And this is funny because I always go back to when you hear stories like this, I always go back to Sean Taylor. Sean Taylor would never show up to these things. Like if you caught Sean Taylor at OTAs, you were shocked. I mean, that was a big deal. I mean, because it was very rare. But Sean wouldn't even return Joe Gibbs' phone calls. Like, I remember that being a big deal. Like, he wouldn't even return Joe Gibbs' phone calls. He wasn't in communication. But when Sean Taylor got on the field, practice field, whatever, he led by example. He led by what I do on this field. I'm bringing this passion. Because a lot of people don't like to practice, especially, veterans, even your best players, none of them like to practice. But Sean Taylor loved practicing. So that's the way he would show his leadership. And no one remembered those days he wasn't there when he was up there leading by example on practice. And that's going to be the same thing with Chase. When Chase gets in the building, Chase is an alpha male. He's going to automatically come right back in the building, and it's going to be like nothing changed. No one's going to remember that week that he took off. So I think, in reference to Doc's quote in his comments, it means something to an extent, but every situation has context. And I think in this situation, it's a little different, and no one's going to hold it against Chase for him missing out on this week or two of OTAs. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Dre, I agree with Doc, but I do want to emphasize the fact that we don't know why Chase Young missed out. Like, shoot, even for that manner, right? Montez Sweat, he missed out last week, and I saw a picture before I started again today. I saw a picture of him attending OTAs, so he was back this week. The thing with Chase Young, also, we have to take into account we don't know why. However, the bottom line is, and if his teammates know why he's gone, it doesn't matter. That's number one. If his coaches know why he's gone, it doesn't matter. That's number two. We don't need to know anything if they know. We don't need to know anything if they know. But on the assumption, which is also dangerous, and I acknowledge that. On the assumption that Chase Young is not there because he wants to do his own thing, that is very dangerous, because in Doc Walker's background or his where he comes from and his understanding of leadership, he poses, like, it's hard to really disagree with what he's saying. And I think one of the things that this became I shouldn't say a big thing, I should say it was very talked about in the local area, is because of who Chase Young is. Chase Young is that number one, or that top star, future star athlete for the Washington football team. And the thought or the possibility of something when it's talked about leadership, the thought and possibility of something being swept under the rug when it comes to your looked at leader, like that, I can see why people are trying to ask these questions. But I think in the grand scheme of things, right, when it comes to Chase Young, you don't ever want to put yourself in a position to be questioned. And that's where it becomes dangerous. But what I will say in a different twist or a different angle of this thing, right? I said this on the Hard Style when I did the podcast with them on Saturday. And I'm not blaming the media, but the media has to be really careful when they do shit like this. Because the media will unintentionally or inadvertently, whatever the right word is, I'm ignorant, I don't know, forgive me, but they will inadvertently trigger these star athletes for no reason, bruh. And all of a sudden, you wonder why somebody don't fuck with you when you simply just wanted to pose a question. I had to ask it, and you know what I'm saying? I felt it was relevant at the time. Well, think about a few months down the line when Chase Young already heard this in the moment. And he's like, all right, y'all trying to stir some shit up. I can't fuck with y'all the way I used to, or the way I gave y'all that opportunity, because if I do something that's not in the light that you agree with, you know what I'm saying, you're going to try and paint a picture about me that's really not accurate. Now, I'm not blaming Kevin Sheehan for posing the question. I'm trying to bring awareness to the fact that Kevin Sheehan has this stage and this amount of notoriety when he's on the microphone that people are listening to him. People are trying to understand what he's saying, and he's persuasive. People will believe some shit that he's saying because it makes sense. And I'm not saying that he's wrong to ask the question. I'm saying be careful, because it could be too early for you to ask some shit like that. And all of a sudden, people will start picking it up. People start believing in it, and it becomes some big thing. One of the things that we've seen in the past, Dre, has been the situation with Deshaun Jackson, bro. I don't remember what it all started with Deshaun Jackson. Maybe you can help me out with that. But Deshaun Jackson did not fuck with the media here. He did not fuck with them. And it was all these stupid ass stories and assumptions about Deshaun Jackson.
That's funny you mentioned
it. Yeah, go ahead. It's all these stupid stories that just led to him just not fucking with people in general, bro.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like you said, with Deshaun Jackson, I remember his beef with the media literally started with OTAs, and the amount of attention that it got that he wasn't at OTAs, when that was his first year here, and I remember that situation because Deshaun said that he had a vacation. This is what I think the media was really digging into too as well, is that Deshaun was actually on vacation that first week of OTAs. So, that's going to be made a big deal. Oh, you can go on vacation, but he can't show up with his teammates. This is the type of teammate you're getting with Deshaun. So we kind of got that narrative, which is, of course, Deshaun sees that, and that shit just pissed him off. He was done after that. But Deshaun, now, and I understood because Deshaun said he had this vacation plan well before he signed with the Redskins at the time. Deshaun wasn't a Redskin when he had made this vacation. And at this point in time, I don't believe every team was on the same OTA schedule like I believe it is now. So he had this vacation lined up before because he got cut abruptly by the Eagles, and Redskins signed him in like a day or two after he got cut. So I understand he was in communication with his coach, and that's a situation where I say the coach and I'm sure it's probably his teammates, maybe some of his new teammates knew that he had other obligations, but he communicated that to them. He just did not show up because it was a voluntary work session. And like I said, I completely get what Dr. Walker is saying, that it matters to an extent because, especially in a situation right now, you're trying to show a different culture here. That's what Ron Rivera is building right now. He's trying to show you that this is not the same Redskins you all were used to for years. Like, there's something different going on. And for that to happen, everyone has to buy in. But again, I don't look at Chase Young as one of those guys that's going to be a problem going forward, because if you hear everyone talk about him, his coaches, his teammates, everyone loves Chase. Like, everyone talks about Chase in a highlight. That means he's doing something else behind the scenes that they see, this leadership. So that's why in this situation, this doesn't concern me too much that he's missing first week or so of OTAs, because like I said, I don't think this is going to be something that teammates are going to hold against him, even his coaches. I think Ron still holds him in high regard. I think he'll be a captain again this year. So, yeah.
I 100% agree. I think it's a non-issue. I think it's also going to be hilarious if he pops up this week and all of that shit that they were saying last week doesn't even matter. And even the stuff that we're discussing right now doesn't even matter because he showed up this week. So it's kind of funny to see how things unfold, right? And I think we can just close on this. And obviously if you have something to say, you can follow up. But I think the one thing that I would say with this, because it's early on and it's important, but I think just the media in general, again, y'all are doing y'all job, but just have some awareness and be careful, because when you start something a little too early, when it's not warranted, just because you want to be first and be like, I told you so, down the line, that can get you in trouble. And I think this isn't that, but this can grow into that. So that's my main thing, is how dangerous this can be, trying to drum up conversation, but also you can possibly fracture something down the line as well.
True.
All right. With that being said, we can move on, man. So I heard through the grapevine that the Washington football team, according to the fans, that's the grapevine, by the way, they are not done at the tight end position. There are some fans who are extremely interested, despite Washington signing a tight end last week in Ricky Seals-Jones, that Zach Ertz should be looked at if and when something happens to him in Philadelphia. There has been no official word on his roster status. Right as of right now, as we're recording this, as we're streaming this, he is still a member of the Philadelphia Eagles. But for some reason, and I cannot tell you all why, he was brought up again as a potential move for the Washington football team. So in this segment, the shit we see on social media, the question posed by Hogs Haven was, Zach Ertz will probably be looking for a new team this week, and should the Washington front office be trying to get him on the roster? Flat out, Dre, do you want Zach Ertz?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to him, because if you look at the tight end depth chart after Logan Thomas, I mean, while he had a great season last year, especially for a guy you didn't expect anything out of going into the season, he's still probably an average tight end, which is okay. I mean, it's not bad, but he's an average tight end. That means that whatever you got behind him isn't, that considered starter material, even though I don't think Ricky Seals-Jones is a starting tight end in this league. And then, of course, that makes you wonder, what do they think of the kid that they, that big basketball playing kid Reyes that they just signed?
Sammis Reyes.
If he didn't show enough to, right? Yeah, I wonder if he didn't show something in these OTAs so far to make him seem like, oh, well, we comfortable with this position, because he's probably raw. Him as a practice squad guy, and then you got the rookie John Bates. You don't know how much you can put stock into a fourth round rookie yet, coming into the position. So with that said, I will be okay going into the season with the current group, because I'm like, okay, we were worse last year. Like I can honestly say we got better this offseason at the tight end position. I mean, how much better? Probably marginally better, but it's better. So I'm okay if they go into the season with that group. But with that said, when you have a guy like Zach Ertz, if he's possibly available, I would definitely go at him, because I think he comes in day one at least just as good as, he's going to be at least good as Logan Thomas, if not better. He's probably a couple spots better, because Ertz is not the same Ertz he used to be, but that's still around what Logan Thomas is right now. So that's two guys that you would be so comfortable in at the tight end position. And yes, you go after that with your group that looks like it is right now.
Man, look, you hit the nail on the head, Dre. Zach Ertz is not what he used to be. A lot of that Well, shoot, it contributes to two things: age and injury history. He keeps getting older and he keeps getting hurt. So it's really like I have nothing to invest. I have nothing to invest into Zach Ertz, man. It's like it's I'm trying to think of a tight end. Shoot, it's like Jordan Reed's talent was always there, so his talent never diminished. He just couldn't stay healthy. But it's just pointless, bro. Right. When you're looking at, for me, it's pointless. I don't need Zach Ertz. And it's kind of crazy because I never really dove into or aligned with this thought process of if you sign a guy, you hurt the players behind him, their development. Like I never traditionally aligned with that. But in this instance, I think the context in which people say that is actually applicable for Zach Ertz. What is the point? you got Logan Thomas, you got Ricky Seals, and I'm not assuming I do not think Ricky Seals is going to be an amazing player by any stretch of the means. I don't think that he's going to be a superstar. I don't think he's going to be top tier tight end number 2 material. I don't see none of that for Ricky Seals. But what I do see is decent level backup quality play where he can still fill in the position that John Bates can do, which is be an exceptional blocker, but also he has some decent hands. And I think the biggest thing when it comes to this tight end position, yes, it is true that signing Ricky Seals can be an indication that John Bates isn't ready, because Sammy's Reyes, I know for a fact, ain't no way in hell a guy who practiced like 3 times, practiced football 3 times is ready for any type of professional football. It's impossible, Dre. It's impossible. And with that being said, I don't have any faith in Sammy's Reyes to come out and be ready day one. If he comes out and does some incredible shit, well, look, I will never bet. I won't put any money down ever again, because clearly I didn't see it coming. I was wrong. And that's just some shit that I just want to see coming.
I'm okay with it.
I think exactly. I will be fine if he's something really good right out the gate. But John Bates, he's just a situation where you kind of figure with the signing that he needs a little bit more time, and that's perfectly fine. But Zach Ertz is just a guy where I feel like him coming to the team is kind of wasting time, because it's just going to be a matter of time, and it's not his fault, right? It's just a matter of time until he gets hurt. And that's just going to, like, why are we wasting time trying to build him up or trying to have him contribute to an offense where we can just take the lumps with the rookies, take the lumps with the inexperienced guys, but also have a placeholder in place in terms of Seals Jones and go from there. That's kind of where I'm at with it, Dre.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I agree. And yeah. No, I was gonna say I agree on that as far as, like, you can have those 2 guys, but I'm good with going into, like I said, the season with the group we have, which is fine. But again, if you have a chance to Zach Ertz, I wouldn't trade with Philadelphia. I'm not giving him a 4th round pick or nothing like that. But if he's released, I would look into it. But again, yeah, well, it's not. I don't think it's a huge deal.
Okay, well, look, how about this? I feel like, well, who would we be sacrificing? We have 7 tight ends on the roster right now, like 7 or 8 tight ends on the roster right now. That shit is kind of crazy. I'm trying to figure out, like, who are we going to sacrifice if we got Zach Ertz on here? Because you're going to sacrifice somebody, and the odds are, if you think about it, Dre.
Well, like I said, I think what helps is you got a preseason this year, so this is beautiful. I mean, you're not just looking at training camp. Even though most of your roster decisions are made in, those Monday to Friday situations, but the good thing is you get to see some of these guys like Sam Reyes in a game situation in preseason. And something Kevin Sheehan brought up the other day on his podcast that was really interesting to me, that I didn't think about, was about the 3 preseason games this year, making that last preseason, and the fact that the 3 preseason games, the last preseason game, you have 2 weeks before the open game.
I hate that shit. He told me that. I first heard it, and I hate it.
Yeah. Well, it takes out the meaningless 4th game now, which I'm actually okay with that because now I think every game matters. I think every preseason game, in a sense, is going to matter to the point where, all right, you get to see some of these guys. I mean, not so much for your star players, but for the guys like Sammy's Reyes and even your rookies like John Bates. So I'm loving the fact that that third preseason game is going to be the dress rehearsal and the last game that's going to matter, and you don't have to worry about that pointless fourth preseason game anymore.
Yeah. So we're looking at what's going on? What's going on, Jared? So Jared mentioned if you're adding a guy to your roster, he needs to add value to your team. And I don't think Ertz at his age and his injury history adds value to the Washington football team. Fella, we are on the same page, my brother. I don't. Again, like I stated, I'm just not there with Zach, man. And I feel like in a position where you have an opportunity to just take the lumps and bruises with these other guys, go for it. And I understand where Dre's coming from too, right, Jared? So like Jared, excuse me, Dre is in the sense of like if he's available and if the price is reasonable, go for it. And that's kind of why I brought it up because I don't know if we currently have 8 tight ends on the roster. There's a potential where you sacrifice the quote unquote up and coming stars based on how we break it down and Samus Reyes and John Bates, man. So many fans kind of actually like either or. And I mean, rightfully so. You know, the unknown is kind of the most intriguing, but that's kind of what you risk when you sign a Zach Ertz, and when you're asking for a person to come in and kind of really to take over that number 2 slot. I can't. I would just prefer to go with like take my chances with some guys and hoping they develop. Because Zach Ertz he only gonna be around for a year, 2 years tops, and that ain't it for me, not for him.
And it's true, that's true. But as far as the sacrificing thing goes with the tight end position, I think the only one you have to worry about is Sammy's Reyes. And I seriously believe you would be able to get away with him on your practice squad. I mean, this is just hypothetical in case you were looking at a Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
But I think teams now they carry 4 tight ends on a roster most times because you're not carrying a fullback, so you usually carry an extra tight end, which would. John Bates, of course, he'll be safe, and Ricky Seals-Jones, he's there. But again, I'm comfortable going in with the group we have now. Ertz will be just hey, if he's available, I kick the tires.
I respect it. I respect that. All right. Okay. So the last thing that we had, this has been a really quick show, right? The last thing that we had is probably the most interesting. The Washington Football Spotlight. Mike Phillips, he made a comment or a headline grabbing comment that Taylor Heinicke should be the starting quarterback for the Washington football team. He said the correct order in Washington is is Heinicke, then Fitzpatrick. And I think like trying to again. For those who were here in the beginning of our show live, I tried to, kind of read this before the stream, like literally right before the stream. And some of the things that he mentioned was kind of sticking out to me. But like, again, the argument wasn't adding up. So some of the things that he mentioned is, well, one quote he said was, chances are, even if Heinicke starts the season, Fitzpatrick ends up playing most of the games. But if he doesn't, that's potentially changing development for the franchise that has won 11 games in 1991. The main thing was the first sentence, right? Even if Heinicke starts the season, Fitzpatrick ends up playing the most games. Kind of alluding to, the history that we know of Heinicke, which is just not being able to finish the season because of his health, of what we know for the 3 games. My question to you, before going a little bit deeper into his article, just off the headline alone, he's saying Heinicke should be the starting quarterback. Why the hell is this a thing? Why is this a thing, Dre?
Well, here's how I view our QB situation, and it's that right now, today, no one should be considered the outright starter for the quarterback position. I want a full-blown competition. Now, may the best man win. And the reason why, because when you look at the guys on the roster with Fitzpatrick, Heinicke, and Kyle Allen, I feel like all three of them are similar in style of play. I mean, you got three similar guys on the roster. I mean, and this Ryan Fitzpatrick is the most known because he's been on the most teams and he's obviously had this flamboyant personality that gets known. And he's done good and bad things everywhere he's gone, but never any great things. So that to me doesn't say that's a guy that comes in and he's just your outright starter day one and he's unquestioned. Especially when you got an intriguing guy like Taylor Heinicke on the bench. Now, I'm not saying Taylor's this, that, or the third, but he showed things last season at the end of the season that you didn't see all year from any of the quarterbacks, which wasn't saying much because we had a really bad QB situation last year. But with that said, I mean, I believe he deserves a chance to compete for a starting shot, which I think he'll get. I think you'll see a competition in training camp. And again, we have a preseason. Yep. We're able to see these guys in some live action. So we'll get to see, Taylor in that aspect. But here's one thing that did intrigue me about Taylor Heinicke that I wasn't really paying much attention to this offseason. But one of the knocks on Taylor last year was his body. His body just looked like it was he just looked fragile. I mean, he just wasn't how most quarterbacks, if they're small like a Russell Wilson, they have some bulk on them. They have a stocky figure. Heinicke didn't have that. Like Heinicke looked like if you just fell on him, he would break something. But
the true made of glass thing.
The other day but I seen a picture the other day and I saw he put on muscle, which doesn't mean anything because a person with muscle can break easily. I mean, we seen LaRon Landry. I mean, that guy was all muscle and no game. But I like seeing that for the simple fact of, okay, he knew what his knock was, and now let me try to do something about this. Let me go out and work on this. And that's the type of thing I like to see. I like to see players take a weakness and they look at that weakness and they go hard at that weakness and they attack that weakness. And now I want to make this a strength. So that's one good thing for Taylor going right now in my book right now. But again, no, he shouldn't. Right now, today, he or Ryan Fitzpatrick, in my opinion, shouldn't be unquestioned outright starter. I believe all three of the guys, they should be in a full-blown competition for this spot.
Hey, man, you said something that was amazing. Like, you said that you love when people work on that weakness and turn it into their strength. And that's kind of how I felt when, people were calling Dwayne Haskins fat because he was fat. And, he said he got tired of people calling him fat, so he lost some weight. And what the hell did he do when he stepped on the field, man? He did the unthinkable. Like, he wasn't that great. He still sucked. And that was kind of unfortunate because I was actually expecting him to do something based on all his preseason hype, off-season hype, and workout videos and things like that, which is another psych because I saw through that, unfortunately. I was hoping he was good, but the off-season videos was a little bit too much. I guess it's June, and I can say, shout out to Heinicke because I did see that same picture, Dre, and Dre, he was a person. It may have been an angle, or it may have been truly him bulking up. But he was aware that he was getting hurt too much, little dings and bruises and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It has to end, and I feel, obviously building up muscle can help with your endurance and obviously helping with your ability to take on injuries. With that being said, to sum up Phillips' column, because it wasn't that long, right? He was essentially saying there's no. And this is not his words, but it's essentially the sum of his article, which is still worth the read because it's a good argument. It wasn't. I disagree with it, and I also see through it, and I'll explain why. But he's essentially saying, even though there's a guarantee that, even though there's a possibility that Heinicke may not be ready or NFL pro ready to last a full season in terms of being able to. Not just injury-wise, but being able to handle the week in and week out grind of the NFL. Like, he may be that spot shadow or spot filling guy. It's worth giving him a shot early on in the year, despite what we know Fitzpatrick can bring. And I just truly disagree, man. And I think that what I'm saying when I say I see through this article is I mentioned earlier in the show. There are people out here in the media who just wants to be first in a lot of things. And again, this is not a personal thing with Phillips, but when you write an article like this in June, on June 1st, and you're saying that the backup should be that starter over Fitzpatrick, knowing Fitzpatrick is that known commodity, but you're saying Heinicke should take over in front of him and then let Fitzpatrick fill in the role. It's kind of like, bro, it kind of goes against football one-on-one in terms of team development and team building. Fitzpatrick was in here for a reason, and it has a lot to do with just or more to do with not just on the field stuff. Like, he brings a lot of things, a lot of qualities that some other quarterbacks can't bring to the table. That's leadership, that's chemistry building, that's also making sure that people are in the right spots, and making sure that this offense is flowing from every single aspect of the huddle, pre-snap, and post-snap. That's what Fitzpatrick is bringing to this table. And I don't think trying to stir up a quarterback controversy in June is the smartest thing. You could have saved that until July, late July, early August, when you seen something in training camp. This ain't even training camp yet. And that's kind of where I was like, this article was kind of getting at, and I'm not mad at it. It's something really good to talk about. And to actually revert back to the question at hand, I agree with you on this one. This should be a competition, but I actually think it should be a competition between two people, man. And we've learned our lesson when you have all three people or even four people try and compete at quarterback. You're not going to divvy up the time, as much time as you want to with every single quarterback. You're not going to be able to see and analyze your guys as much as you can when you try to space it out to three or more quarterbacks. And I think that Kyle Allen should be developed slowly because he already knows this system. Okay, so if they know what he brings to the table, but they don't know what Taylor Heinicke brings in terms of being in the full-blown competition. He came in here at the end of the season. So he has to come in here and get some work. He's going to be day one ready if, there's something called a competition here, a true competition, and so will Fitzpatrick. So I think it comes down to those two. I agree with you 100%. They should battle it out. And I think Ron needs to stick to his word. But there's no doubt in my mind that right now the underdog is Heinicke. If we're setting odds, like, the favorite is definitely Fitzpatrick, and it should be Fitzpatrick. And it's clearly his job to lose, man. And that's kind of where I'm at with it. To answer that question specifically, it comes down to Fitzpatrick and Heinicke. It shouldn't be a three-man at all.
Yeah, and I was just saying Kyle Allen just to be nice. I mean, because some people like Kyle Allen. If you talk to I mean, and this is not to be bag on Kyle Allen, because when
you just being honest, I
actually thought that he improved as every game he played, which was decent. But I don't think his ceiling is that high. I think with Kyle Allen, you're just getting a guy that he may be an Alex Smith at best type of guy at the end of the day when it's all said and done, which is okay. But that's not a guy that's going to take you to the next level on any level. But Heinicke, from what he showed, he was in his little short spurt. He was better than any QB Washington had last year.
1,000%.
I mean, that was Kyle Allen included, all of the guys. But like I said, very small sample, and it was one of those things where some people can say, "Oh yeah, well, the defenses weren't ready for him; they didn't have any film." Cool, I'll give you that. But at the same time, he still looked better than Kyle Allen and Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith and all those guys. So, yes, I'm completely fine with the competition just being between Heinicke and Fitzpatrick. And I also feel like those two are really similar guys as far as the QB position. They're both smaller guys, even though Fitzpatrick had that more of a stockier build. But I think Heinicke's caught up to him in that. But Fitzpatrick has the experience. He's obviously been around a long time. And Fitzpatrick also has durability. That's going for him as well. We don't know if Taylor Heinicke's body can even hold up for more than one game. So that's another thing you have to watch out for. But again, in August, when August comes around, I would love to see those two battling it out, and it'd be a fair competition, and may the best man win. So
Absolutely.
I'm all for that.
Absolutely. Now, BB, first off, what it do, fool? I hope you recover from Sunday. But my man BB in the chat saying, and I completely 100% disagree with you, and I know you're trolling, but Fitz gets to start, but he's there to motivate Heinicke. So essentially, he's using Heinicke is using Fitz as some motivation here. But Dre, let me ask you, right? Because this is a question that like we this is a topic that we talk about like through Twitter, and we've probably bypassed it or touched it on the surface level on the show. But how do you personally feel about Heinicke in terms of his play style and what he can bring to this offense, even though it's only been a game and a half? Like, where are you at with Heinicke?
Honestly, I'm really intrigued with Heinicke. I'm not like I've seen a lot of guys on Twitter kind of just write him off as, oh, it was a one-hit wonder, or oh, you shouldn't put much stock into what he did, but he did it. I've seen now. This
Right.
my favorite thing when people tell me, they say, oh well, they didn't have film on him. It was, and Tampa Bay didn't have their best linebacker playing, which is true. I'll give you that. However, I've seen way more guys come into Taylor Heinicke's situation and fold than do what Taylor Heinicke he did in that situation. Like I said, granted, you still can't take much from it because it could just be one game. He may have just had the game of his fucking life. But at the same time, that's all I know of Taylor Heinicke. And, you kind of look back at his career and you see the Carolina and the Minnesota stops that he had. He never really got a chance to, I guess, because when he came into those situations, Minnesota, I believe, they had, I don't know if they had Kirk at the time he came in the league. But either way, he was never thought of as a guy we're going to groom for a starting quarterback position. Carolina, they had Cam Newton. They was never looking at Taylor Heinicke as a guy we're going to groom the QB position. So when you're not looked at as that guy and you come in as a guy off the street, you're just a guy that's just going to get a couple reps just in case somebody goes down. No one's checking for you as a guy that, no matter, you can go in there and probably throw 100% complete passes in practice, but they're still not looking at you as a guy they're grooming to be their next guy. They probably won't even take it serious. Maybe your coaches will say, oh, that's just practice. He's just doing that here. But again, we don't know. And that's what's so intriguing about Taylor Heinicke. And that's why this preseason is coming up. I'm actually going to be a little bit more invested in it than a lot of preseason because I want to see if this guy can ball. I mean, because he went into a playoff game and he led that huddle and he got passes where they needed to be. And he just did everything you wanted a quarterback to do in a playoff game. We just weren't as talented as Tampa Bay at the end of the day. I mean, we weren't going to beat Tampa Bay. We couldn't stop them on the other end. Yeah, they have Tom Brady. They won the Super Bowl. But Taylor Heinicke did what you wanted a QB to do in a playoff game and a little bit more considering his circumstances. So he's intriguing to me, man. That's why I say, I mean, I wouldn't count him out by any means as far as this QB competition goes, like a lot of people are.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. So BB's actually serious. He says he thinks that Fitz is coming in to breed the new guy, like a guy you don't mind benching down the line. In terms of, I guess he's talking about Fitz with that one. We did not pick up. We do have an undrafted free agent though. And Steven Montez, BB, but we didn't pick up any undrafted free agents, quarterbacks this year. But Dre, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I've never answered that question directly. And I think the most important thing with this one is that I really do fuck with Heinicke. It's more so like the reasons I say what I say when it comes to Heinicke is more so, man, I'm an even tempered guy and I try to, or a balanced, even keeled guy, and I try to remain that, not as an act, but as a, like, I've seen this team burn me so many fucking times, and I'm too smart to invest into anything. But from an athlete and a player standpoint, I actually think that Heinicke has skills, man. And you mentioned what he did with Tampa Bay, right? Like, he balled in Tampa Bay, and his numbers isn't going to reflect that. I looked it up because I thought he threw for 400 yards. The offense had 400 yards, I believe, but I thought he threw for 400 yards, but he didn't. And I remembered this is the same game that Kansas City dropped 1,000 passes. And that kind of killed me.
Especially one deep one.
Yes, I think the first possession. The first possession it was kind of crazy. But in that Carolina game, that motherfucker showed something that in 30 seconds, this motherfucker showed some shit that we haven't seen the whole season.
Yeah.
The whole season, bro.
It was like, and this, I mentioned this, Jamal, to somebody, a couple of people I know personally. I didn't say this on Twitter, but he reminded, mind you, I watched Tony Romo's first game with the Cowboys when he came
I remember
in
that
for
too.
Drew
Monday
Bledsoe.
night.
Monday night.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a Monday night game. He came in for Drew Bledsoe, and he just wasn't scared of the moment. He just came in all, and I was scared at that moment. When Tony Romo came in and did what he did, I said, that Cowboys actually got a quarterback now. I said, that dude ain't scared. It was one little game, but I seen something in him that said he has it. He's not scared of the moment that he's in. And that's what intrigues me about Taylor Heinicke is that he was in that Carolina, not even the Tampa Bay game, but that Carolina game, he was not scared of the moment when he came in that game. It was like he came in the game, was like, damn, all right, man, I should have probably been in an hour ago, but I'm going to come in and I know what I need to do right away. Even Chase Young saw it. Chase Young said right away, he said, I like that dude. He get it. He get it. And then the playoff game, I remember arguing with countless folks, and it wasn't because I believed in Taylor Heinicke before the playoff game. It was because I just didn't think Alex Smith can give you any fucking thing on that one leg that he had. And absolutely. I was telling folks, I said, well, I would rather take my chances with this Heinicke guy than watch Alex Smith go out there and hobble on one leg and we score 10 points in this game. And people are like, oh, no, you can't put him in a playoff game. It's so scary. He can't do this in a playoff game. And then look what he does in a playoff game. He went out there and played like he had been starting in this league for years, and like he knew he was good. Like he played in that playoff game was not too big for him. And now people kind of marginalize and minimalize what he did in the playoffs as, oh, no one had tape on him. So that's why I say I can point to you way more instances where a guy in Taylor Heinicke, same situation, went in and stunk it up versus do what Taylor Heinicke actually did in the game.
That was my first thing when I seen Heinicke. Matter of fact, no, it was the Tampa game. When I saw his first full game out, like, bro, the nigga was cooking so much. I asked the question to everybody. I was like, did we just accidentally find our franchise quarterback? Like, I thought we found that shit on accident. And I would tell you this one thing, Mr. Michael Phillips, if you somehow to happen watch this, I would tell you this. If you see Taylor Heinicke outperforming Ryan Fitzpatrick in August, late July and August, that is your story. That right there is your story. And now that I said that out loud, it's probably going to be my story before it's your story. Because I'm a write it first. So that is right what you want to talk about when the time comes is this motherfucker Heinicke is outplaying Fitzpatrick. Now we have a dilemma because they signed this man Fitzpatrick in here thinking that he can hold the stip shutty for 1 year, 2 years tops. But you got this guy Heinicke who just will not fucking go away. He shows up every single time the coaches are asking him to. He's got elevated to the second string quarterback position already after 2 games. Washington have seen him play 2 games, and he's elevated to the second string quarterback position. Now he's in a competition for the number 1 starting job for Washington after only being on the team for what was in regular season time, probably 3 weeks. Like that's as long as he's been on this roster. So that right there is the storyline to follow from the quarterback position is what the hell is Heinicke going to do in the training camps, the mandatory mini camps, the preseason games. I can't wait to watch that shit, Trey. I cannot wait.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I said with the thing to watch is because as we said, these guys are similar players, him and Fitzpatrick, in a sense that you look at them kind of like gunslingers. I mean, these are guys who are not scared to go where they want to go with the ball. Even though I think Taylor might be a little bit more safer with it, because Taylor looks like a guy that he wants to always put the ball in the right spot, which is a coach's dream. This is why Mac Jones got drafted in the first round. That's exactly why Mac Jones got drafted, because he wasn't a superior athlete, wasn't a superior arm strength, but he's a QB that knows where to go with the ball in an offense. And that's what a guy like Taylor Heinicke does. Now, sometimes they're going to throw turnovers because that's what, guys like that do. They try to go in the right spot, even if it's a spot that's not there, but you're going to get that, which Fitzpatrick does probably more than that. So I think in the competition scheme of things, when you watch preseason and training camp, you can't get too down when you see Taylor Heinicke throw an interception in practice or training camp. Because I already seen in the OTAs where they posted this video of him throwing an interception to the rookie safety we just drafted for us. Mm-hmm. And people, Heinicke threw an interception. I'm like, it's practice for one. And that's going to happen. I mean, that shit's going to happen. I mean, and that usually happens with a lot of the QBs. They're those picks here and there, but they also will give you a chance to win, and they're also going to give you their wide receivers a lot more chances to make plays, which is, like I said, that's not to sit here and down Fitz, because Fitz is going to do the same thing. I think Fitz is going to give his guys chances as well. This is what's going to make this competition so interesting to me, because, like I said, I feel like you have two similar guys here. And then the question is going to be, is Heinicke the real deal in the sense that what he showed last year wasn't a fluke? And will he step up to push Fitz in a way that a lot of people don't expect right now? Because a lot of people have Fitz penciled in, because you know what you're going to get out of Fitz. But will Heinicke show that he has durability? And will Heinicke show that he wasn't a fluke last year? That's what's making this training camp or preseason so interesting to me.
And you got the last word on that, boss. Before we get up out of here, bro, did you? I ain't gonna lie to you. After that Saturday game with the Wizards, I thought these motherfuckers was getting swept. Did you see that dub coming? I give them credit, because I laughed at them in the first quarter. I was like, they always have to find a way to get down 10 points before they want to do something. And lo and behold, they come back. And shout out to Rui, because that was a clutch three, but also it put the game away at the end. They fought hard, and obviously circumstances kind of helped them get in that position with the injuries and Ben Simmons fucking shacking it up. Like, that shit was kind of crazy. But where are you at, man? I did not think they was going to at least get one. I thought they was getting swept.
Yeah, I'm actually with you on that one, Jamal. I thought on Saturday after that game, then I was like, oh yeah, them dudes done, man. They choked because they just quit. I felt like they quit, like they was just done. Like, man, this is it, whatever. But they just, I don't know, man. This is the story of the Wizards season, man. They've been doing this all year. It's like, when you think you can count them out, just like a lot of us, we started getting ready to tank and everything after a while. But then they go on like a crazy run where they win like 16 out of 17 games or whatever. So this is what they do. They fight. And now they actually got a small, tiny glimmer of hope, because they won yesterday. And also now Embiid is hurt. Yeah. And the 76ers with injured Embiid I don't even know if they're an average team.
They're very vulnerable.
So
sure.
They give the Wizards a chance to have that little glimmer of hope. So we'll see what they do tomorrow with that little glimmer. Because if they win tomorrow, it gets interesting. Because if they win tomorrow, then they come back down 3-2. They come back Friday, back at home. And who knows if Embiid is going to be healthy when they come back home on that Friday. I mean, Embiid is known to milk his injuries. So
yeah, that's true.
He's milking that injury. You may have a game 7 here, but again, I don't want to get too ahead of myself with this team, because they can easily go out and lose tomorrow to a team without Embiid. So we'll see, man.
Look, they gotta play defense and cut the fucking turnovers out. Like, that's really what it comes down to for me. Obviously, there's other things. Like, the one thing that drives me crazy, like those are when it comes to the playing defense part. Like, I've never seen so many motherfuckers get open off of, like, they're open beyond the arc 12 times a game. Whether or not they make them or not, I don't know. But they're open, at least, like, wide open, butt naked, nobody around them, open. And I just don't understand, like, what what type of thing is going on for them to consistently not be able to communicate, but also not be able to see the movement on the offensive side and stop these guys. It's kind of frustrating to see, bro. And I'm a defensive guy, like in general. Like I love good defense, football, basketball, defender, boxing. You know what I'm saying? You know how to play defense, all that shit. Like if you're really good at defense, I love it. And that's why it just kind of drives me crazy, bruh. Like, I asked the question, when's the last time these motherfuckers were really good at defense? Like, a genuine question. And we dated back to 5 years. I think it was the last year Randy Whitman was there.
Randy Whitman was the last real coach we had that actually coached defense. But, other than that, like, we just, even back in the Eddie Jordan, Gilbert Arenas days, there was no defense play. It would just go out and score higher than your opponent. And Randy Whitman, I mean, I hated on Randy Whitman a lot, but I would give him credit. He did coach defense. He was an old school guy. Old school guys going to coach defense. But Scott Brooks, man, he's just too much of a nice guy. I think Scott Brooks is an all shucks, he's just the all shucks type of guy. Like, oh, shucks, guys, I'm just happy to be
Try
here.
your best.
I want to
do your best.
Yeah, just go out there and play hard. I'm going to clap it up for
Jason
you.
Garrett.
But Scott Brooks, actually, I don't know if you ever watched this movie. This might be a little too old for you, Jamal. But
right,
Little Giants.
All right, hold on, time out. I seen it, bro, but I was just young. So I don't remember it. I did see it though. I gotta give myself some credit. I have credit.
Go watch that movie, man. It's a good '90s football movie, man. It's about the Al Bundy in his prime, and he's brothers with Rick Moranis, who plays in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. And those two go at it as rivals in a football game for little tykes. And this is and they have the Giants and the Cowboys. It's actually a good one. They got a couple of NFL players on there. John Madden's on the movie. Go check that out, Jamal. But when you watch it, you're gonna see Rick Moranis reminds you of Scott Brooks. That's okay. Scott Brooks right there.
All right, man. Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis.
Yeah, he's a nerd.
Okay, good, man. Okay. All right. Quick question: Do Suns or the Lakers win tonight? That's the game I'm looking forward to.
I'm going with the Suns because I think AD's hurt, so I think Lakers are done, man. Without AD, LeBron and them ain't pulling off that victory against the Suns.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that series is a wrap.
All right. Yeah. I think the Suns got it tonight too, but I think Lakers are strong enough to pull off the back-to-back and finish this in 7. So. But I love this series, man. I love the energy and the pace of this series, man. So I cannot wait. Even though I get up at 5:00 in the morning, odds are I'm probably staying up for like 30 minutes of this game. So
man, sorry for you, brother.
It is what it is. But you know what I'm saying, we all live, we all do what we gotta do. So it is what it is. I'm all good.
Yeah.
Already. But all right, y'all. Hey, appreciate everybody for listening. Appreciate everybody tuned in live, all that good stuff. Again. I will be back tomorrow with the All 32 side. I have to be here. We have a guest, man. Eric Crocker is scheduled to tune in for the All 32 side of Trap or Dive, man. So we will be here. I will be having the Wizards game on in the other, like, outside of the stream. So I will be tuned in, but can't talk about it. Got to focus on All 32. Appreciate everybody for watching. We will see you all. Well, I will see you all tomorrow. Peace.